Hello everyone. I believe it's time to start. Yes. Um, my name is Eltrayan, Cristiana Eltrayan. I'm very happy to be here with you again. Like every year we meet here for this outstanding global event. For me, it's always an honor to meet these amazing hearts that you are. And it's always a pleasure to be able to share space with you. Thank you for having organized this gathering again and give all of us the opportunity to share each other with each other. I'm gonna speak a little slower so that people can translate. Just let me know if the rhythm is okay. Yes? How many of you have been here before? All of the others are new? Who is new? Oh, everybody's new. Wow, wonderful. Very honored to meet newness. I'm on this path for a long while. I would say eons in terms of lifetimes, but I would say 10 years in this lifetime. I've discovered the reality of Pranic Consciousness 10 years ago when some friends invited me to a conference in Bucharest, in my country, Romania, where a very nice friend of mine, very powerful friend of mine called Jasmine, was holding a workshop every year. When my friends told me that she was nourished by prana since 93, I said, that's perfectly normal. It seemed perfectly normal for me. But unlike many people that I know, I didn't want to jump to it, and make it a goal in my life. So I was never really interested in stop eating. How many of you are here because you want to stop eating? You want to be only on prana. How many of you have this goal in your life? You have a goal, yeah. How many of you are here just because you find that this information is possible and you would like to experience for a while how it feels like? How many of you are here just because you find it very weird and you want to know what these weirdos are doing here? You can be honest now. Don't worry, we're used to that. We do this every year for many years. Many people just sit there and say, these are complete freaks. And it's normal. Because hearing that somebody hasn't nourished himself with physical food for 20 years kind of feels like a cartoon or a sci-fi movie for some of us, right? How many of you have experienced that feeling? That this is too sci-fi for, for us to be real. Thank you very much for your honesty, yes. And it really is a bit of a sci-fi, because it has science and it has something that used to be, until not long ago, fiction. Yes? I will talk about both of them today. I will talk about the science of it because I love bridging science and holistic information. And I will talk also about what some of the people joining these gatherings think to be fiction. Fiction like limitlessness of humanity. Yes, we as humans are limitless. Our bodies are limitless channels of energy, limitless transceivers of information. That is, there are no limits for what this body can do. And when we say there are no limits, I say, and I'm going to go very far out now, just to integrate this sci-fi reality into here. And I'm going to say that our bodies can bilocate, teleport, materialize in different areas, multiple areas even, transfer information telepathically, you've heard of that, I bet, and heal instantly and also heal others instantly. This is our ship. These are the qualities of this machinery that we call physical body. How many of you have a very bad impression about your body and want to leave it as soon as possible? How many of you feel that only when you leave your body you'll be free? Nobody? Everybody wants to stay here forever? Oh, thank you very much. Yes? Everybody wants to say, oh, I'm honored to be in the presence of this gathering then, because I have a lot of clients, patients in my therapy. I do a therapy called soul healing, where people really want to leave this body. They want to go back to their mothership on the planet, or on back to source or something. Yes? Nobody here wants that. Yes? Everybody wants to stay here and embody divinity on this, in this bodysuit. That's very good. How would you ask it? Please, how would you ask it? How many of you like your body? Okay. How many like that you have a body, first of all? Yeah? Those of you who do not like that you have a body, what are you doing about it? That's the question, no? And this is where the magic starts with pranic journey. Because when people do not like that they have a body, or do not like how they feel in their bodies, or do not like the fact that they have embodied here, are either having the option to leave it, but this is not going to happen very soon for some of us, or they have the option to shift it. You can actually shift your body ship into something that is more limitlessness than you used to have so far. And I was just talking to somebody this morning about it, and we were discovering together the modalities to do that. How could we shift from feeling limited in this body and feeling cluttered, you know, like you've been put in a box, from feeling that to feeling limitlessness, to feeling that you have limited power, limited awareness, unlimited power, unlimited awareness, unlimited expansion. Would that be possible while still being in a physical body? What do you think? Yes? Oh, that's a good start for us today. This is what I'm going to talk about. I would love if people would be more open to know that actually free energy and freedom of limitlessness is available for all of us. That's a good start for the new era, or the golden era of humanity. We have had science proving already that universe is unlimited. We have had science proving that every atom, or every minute particle of an atom, holds in itself the whole information of the universe, which is one step to limitlessness, because you don't have to research the whole universe to find information. You just can focus on the minutest particle of it. And the one who was in the program today at 1, Nassim Haramein, is one that's researching this very well and has proven that scientifically. So I'm going to refer a bit to his work as well while talking to you today, because free energy in devices and free energy in our human body is functioning pretty much the same. And it's why for a long time now I'm inviting scientists in my projects to join their knowledge together so that we can discover what the body does when it's nourished without food. What the body does when it's nourished in a pranic way, What happens with the hormones? What happens with the endocrine system? What happens with the bone and muscle structure? What happens with the blood, the glucose, all that stuff? It can be researched, it can be measured. Some of us here are doing that already. Thank you, Ivo. And I believe there's further research that can be done to help us understand why this is not sci-fi and why this is very, very real, actually. And for now, I have 3 projects that I'm working on constantly. One is the Pranic Festival in Romania, that is in August 15 to 19. The second is the Pranic Consciousness Summit online, which is interviewing all the Pranic people I know and finding out why and how they are on this journey. And the third one, which is developing, is this contact between science and holistic world, where we can join forces together to really research what is happening with the body, what is happening with pranic consciousness. Not long ago, I've interviewed and had a talk with Dr. Sudhir Shah. How many of you have heard of him? There is a movie called Light, or In the Beginning There Was Light, where there's an old yogi who has been on prana for 70 years already. And he has been monitored in a hospital with all the most outstanding devices to monitor his body functions for about 14 days or so. And they have proven that he was actually not taking any food or liquid, and still his body functions were perfect. And not only they were perfect, but he was actually producing urine out of nothing, and he was transforming it into energy. So urine would develop in his bladder, and then it would disappear. This study has taken place, I guess, in 2003, if I'm not mistaken, in a hospital in Ahmedabad, done by one of the most important renowned doctors, neuroscientist of India. His name is Sudhir Shah. And having chatted with it not long ago, and I will continue to with the second interview soon, he has agreed. He has not only confirmed that he has participated and monitored his study very, very diligently with cameras, with CCAD, with personnel on the room, with all the most advanced tests that are possible. So not only he has confirmed that, but he also confirmed that this special yogi had a very interesting way of being, which is beyond feeding or not feeding. It's actually a special emanation, we might say. But that's going into the holistic realm. Back to science, he has agreed to participate with other scientists in the study. And I'm very happy to have his agreement. You can see this video on YouTube, on my channel, I guess. If you search Cristiana Eltrayan and go on the YouTube channel, I think it's available. If not, you search Pranic Consciousness Summit and you'll find it there. The point is, this year in July, I will hold a conference at the Resonance Academy in US, where Gregg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Nassim Harameem, and others will be present. And this is where I strongly believe, and it's the same topic, free energy unveiled. I strongly believe that more awareness on this subject can be brought to science so that research can start at a very, in a very powerful way. Having met Gregg Braden recently in Romania also, you know Gregg Braden? A scientist. And hands up just to see how many are relating to what I'm saying. Okay, he's a very, very powerful scientist, geologist, holistic researcher. He's holding outstanding conferences on remote healing and limitlessness and body matrix and so on. And when I went to him to give him my last book, he was very happy that he was just beginning to develop interest into pranic reality. Yes, and he was just beginning to research and wanting to find out more. Why am I saying all this? Just to know that the sci-fi part of it is actually not so not so much fiction in it. I mean, real people that have had outstanding results in science are now joining the club and bringing their attention to it. And one of the scientists who have joined the festival and the summit the years before, who is Nassim Haramim, has actually also confirmed that he has been pranic for 3 years and also levitated, which means that science has not only researched this, but also experienced this to a very high degree already. I'm going to go further and refer to one very powerful scientist called Franz Wilczek, which has just won a Nobel Prize, yes, recently, who has said publicly that we are children of the ether. Children of the ether means children of prana. So Nobel Prize winning physicists that are renowned in the most rigid scientific circles are making affirmations that could open us up to dropping the concept that this is fiction and really studying this from the perspective that this is very real and it's worth our attention as humanity. It is time for us to not be superficial about it anymore and to really go deeper and dive deeper into it to see exactly what happens, not only to ourselves, but to all the others who are experiencing this. Because we are having a ship or a body that, as I said, is limitless in his possibility. And the fact that we're using just very little percentage of its capabilities is making us feel not so great here, right? You don't feel so great traveling 10 hours in a train, you? Would you like to teleport? I would. I'm still trying to remember that. I have to confess. It took me 10 hours to get here from Romania. It's frustrating. Especially while knowing what I know about human body capabilities. Those of you who do not believe this is possible, I invite you to read the book of a very renowned scientist called Bart T. Spending. Bart T. Spending. It's called The Life of the Masters. Yes? Good book, huh? Good book. Where a group of 11 scientists have journeyed at the beginning of last century, have journeyed to Tibet to make some research that had nothing to do with ascended masters. But the path of divine will has led them into the monasteries of Tibet and gave them access to not only some manuscripts that had very powerful teachings, Tibetan teachings of the limitlessness of human body and the history of humanity in truth, but also they have met people there, and that is reported in a scientist book. They have met people there that were able to live for hundreds of years without the necessity of using nourishment and with the possibility of remote viewing, remote healing, moving their bodies without using transportations to long distances in very short instances, and so on and so forth. I invite you to read that book. It's mind-blowing for some and just confirming for others who maybe have had some of these experiences. So as you see, I haven't come here to small talk you. I'm talking about the biggest possibilities that are far beyond not being nourished by prana, not being nourished by food, are far beyond just pranic nourishment. I'm talking today about pranic consciousness, freedom, limitlessness. Are you interested in that, or you just want food intake? Yeah? Okay. So that I know that I continue. Because I can talk for hours about how to not eat or how to, but I'm no longer interested in that. Not so much. The decreasing of food intake or renunciation of food is a byproduct of consciousness rising. It is not a byproduct of just one process or a fasting week. It is not a byproduct of putting your will into it. I want now to stop eating. I will starve myself until I do it. It's not the way to go. It's not a byproduct of intention or determination. It is a byproduct of alignment, though. When you align yourself more to the frequency of divinity that you are, when you align yourself more to the emanation that is breathing us all, that is waking yourself up in the morning, and I'm not referring to the alarm of the clock, that which opens your eyes, breathes your breath, moves your your heart, pumping blood from it and so on, that thing. Aligning to that more and more. Aligning to the limitlessness of your intuition capacity, of your awareness ability, and of all that is possible for you as divinity. That's what eventually would be maybe make you feel nourished. For most of us, it has done so. So most of us have been feeling nourished as we aligned more and more to that source or divine power or whatever universal force, whatever you need to call it. Yes, some call it God even. As you align more and more to that, some of you might not feel hungry anymore. How many of you have already experienced not feeling hungry anymore? Wow, we have a good crowd here. I'm so honored. And having felt that, have you still felt that is necessary to take physical food from time to time? Some of you. Yeah, it's beneficial, it's good, yeah. Have you felt guilty about it? Ever? No, it's just normal, no? Because I'm asking that because many in these gatherings, at least the years before, were strongly believing that if they reached a level where they're no feeling hungry anymore, and if they reached a stage where they don't need to eat anymore, if they took a piece of chocolate, the universe would just drop. or their pranic badges would fall off. And then, God, I have to go back to the normal life again. It's not like that. It's just always a process of fine-tunement, weaving through frequency, matching energies with whatever you need to meet, and that might or might not require you taking food. And with this, I'm going to tell you a bit about my journey and what happened, if you will, because it makes a good statement, and it's a very weird, not classical story usually. So when I was in the beginning of this journey, well, first I had my first pranic experiences in my youth when I was 14, and I needed to balance a bit my energy in my house with the family, and I stopped using food or very little food for quite a while. I was having half an apple a day or a biscuit a day, and I continued that without knowing what I was doing until the energy of the house was better, of my family and what was happening then. I felt healthy, I was going to school, I was okay, but I was not feeling to eat. And that resulted in me having the first experience that I later on, 14 years later, found out it's called being nourished by prana. The second time I found out about it was when I was very, very busy as a manager, working 16 hours a day, having a big schedule at work, having my own company, and having very little balance in my life. And I started meditating. Having started meditating every day for 20 minutes in the morning, and I highly recommend this for all of you, no matter how busy you are. Having started that, I started to see things differently. You know, like the reality was not feeling so real for me anymore. The things, the programs, the imprints that people were trying to bring on me were not feeling real to me anymore. When my boss was saying, we need to change your salary, or we need this or that because it's crisis, that worry was washing off me like it's a stream of stuff that I don't need, Or when my husband or somebody was trying to push things at me, I was looking at them from a different perspective and not taking them in anymore. Why? Because I was in my center. So I always say that a being only has power over you if you give energy to the reality that he's presenting. I'm going to repeat this because it is of pranic consciousness. A being only has power over you if you give energy to the reality that he is presenting. Like, if I came now to you and said, you have to jump in the river and wash 7 times to become pranic. It's a silly example, but I'm just saying it for the sake of exemplifying. You could believe that and go wash in the river, or you might or might be not becoming pranic after. Who knows, maybe grace come over you, but it's not real. Or you might say, well, I don't believe that's the way to do it. And feel in your heart that there should be another method that is maybe smarter or maybe more aligned to truth. And once you don't give energy to that reality, you stay on your chairs and enjoy the space without being moved from your center. Yes? That's pranic consciousness, knowing what's true or not for you. And that's very important on this path also. I made that example, you might not know where it's going, but I want to come back to the pranic path and tell you, discernment and staying in your center is very important on this path. Knowing what's right and what's not for you. Knowing who's true and who's not. Knowing which procedure you should follow. Should I do the 21-day process, the 9-day, the 10-day, the Victor, the Nicholas? Who should I join? All that is already written in your heart. All these questions you have had, yes? You have had these questions here. What should I do? What process should I follow? When should I stop eating? Should I do fruits or juices? Yes, you have all these questions. I know because I've been in gatherings for many years now. Well, the answer to all this is in your heart, is in your center, is in your meditation. And when you meditate, go back in your heart, you will know who to follow, if to start the process, if to give credit or energy to a person. Is that useful for you? Would that be useful for you? To not go, like a leaf that is in the wind like this and know exactly where to go? Would be useful? Well, that's what meditation do. That's what meditation does, and that's what pranic consciousness brings. The awareness of what's truth and what's not, what's real and what's not, what's possible or available and what's not. And between the possibility that are available, which would be best to choose for now also. That's pranic consciousness. So back to my journey, when I started meditating, I started to see all these things. And it was really easier for me to weave through all the programs that society has put on us, all the programs that our family has put on us, all the programs that we have been maybe imprinted from other existences. For those who believe we have several existences, it is easier to unweave from all that and step into pranic consciousness when you have this awareness. Starting meditating, I found out about this possibility, like I said, and it seemed real to me. It felt right to me. It felt it's possible. I didn't reject it for a second. I wasn't doubting it for a second. I knew in my core that this is true. Why didn't I stop eating right away? Well, because I never went after cities. or superpowers. I never went after being clairvoyant, being remote viewer, being one that has a lot of astral traveling journeys. I never searched for superpowers because usually they detract you from the path instead of stabilizing you on the path of pranic consciousness. You get caught into the astral realm. Wow, so many beings, so many worlds, so many existences that you can be projecting yourself into. But they are, like I said, projections. So once you get out of that or beyond, you can see how there are also movies, like the movie of the reality that you're in now. How many of you are into astral traveling? Well, journey safely. Yes, what I can say is journey safely and be aware that it's also a journey, which has a beginning and an end, and there's other roads beyond or below, and so on. I've never been interested into cities. What I've been interested into really was to stay centered beyond all the qualities, abilities, or gifts that I might receive on this journey. Because for me, they are all roles and role plays. Like I have this body now that is of a young woman, or a woman, yes, and I play this role of holding a conference here, but also many other aspects of me are holding many roles in many other aspects of the universe. Some on the starship, some on the spinning a galaxy, some having different roles of leadership in certain star nations. And that is possible. You can be aware of all that and be conscious that you're not only here. But it's also important not to get to identify with that role either. Oh, I'm the leader of a big starship and this is what I can do from that starship. It's not important. You'll get out of that role quickly also. In terms of eons, that's a blink of an eye. Does that make sense to anyone, what I'm saying? Yes? This type of consciousness. So pranic consciousness, I'm going somewhere with this conversation. Pranic consciousness is going beyond all the roles, all the programs, all the things that are limiting your freedom of expansion and are limiting your awareness of you being one with all. Until you are really aware that you're one with all, that you're connected with all, and there's no separation between your atoms and the atoms of everything that moves or breathes and everything that is apparently still, until you're there, it's just a journey. And when you're there, you're quitting to want anything. You're quitting to want to not be nourished or be nourished by prana. You're quitting to want to be traveling or not traveling astrally. You're quitting to want to be a woman or a man, to be in a couple or in a single. You're quitting everything that would be wanting. I've had that experience for some while. So knowing the flavor of it or the perfume of it makes me now not pay so much attention of whether I eat or not. Also, when I stop paying that much attention of whether I eat or not, I stop paying attention to eating as well. So food is not so much an interest to me at the moment. Which doesn't mean that I reject it, doesn't mean that I say it's bad. I just say it brings you into a different state of consciousness than pranic nourishment alone. So you have the option to be only nourished by prana, which is a very good option, and very much freedom comes from that. And you have the option to also be nourished by prana and take a little bit of food here and then, or a little bit of bites of something that you want to taste. And that's part of also being in your human journey and utilizing your human senses. And that's not bad. It's not bad to have an ice cream. It's not bad to have a bite of melon. It's not bad to make love. It's not bad to be enjoying the caress of the wind on your skin. It's not bad to even have emotions. It's natural part of human journey. What I'm saying for some people here, and I know some of you resonate with that, is maybe you could stop wanting to become something. Who of you are wanting badly to become something? Or to become something else, I might say. Okay, thank you. I was feeling I'm talking for some people. That's also a program. That's also something that takes you off your path and tells you you're not enough yet. Maybe if you would be pranic, maybe if you'd stop eating, maybe if you prove yourself to yourself that you're connecting to Source, then maybe then you would be completely accepted, completely loved. But that's not the way to go. It's the other way around, actually. When you feel completely accepted, when you feel completely loved, when you feel completely one with Source, it is then you no longer need food. Then you no longer need anything else. And only then that you are fully pranic. Does that make sense to some of you? Yeah? Getting it? Okay. Okay. At least that's what I experienced. I cannot tell you of others, even though I've interviewed many. I cannot tell you how it was for others. That's not the topic of today. I can tell you, though, about free energy, freedom, and being free from all the concepts and programs and all the wanting. Thank you very much for the water. Grazie mille. And yes, I'm still using liquids and some food. Many people ask me and want to ask me whether do I still eat or not? How much do I eat? This is the common questions usually. Are you interested in that? I'm not, but I will tell you if you are. Okay, so continuing with my journey, started meditating, started doing yoga, started doing qigong every day. Started having a practice of maybe 6 to 10 hours a day of joint different techniques applied. I studied the qigong, the yogic traditions, the Tibetan traditions. I was diligently diving into this world. I didn't want to tiptoe around it, and get bits and pieces. I wanted to really dive in because I felt there's much more beyond what I've experienced till 28 that could be discovered. And I wanted to experience it all. There has been some wanting in me, I admit. And diving deeper, I discovered that the more energy we bring to ourselves through various practices of meditation and physical work combined with energy awareness, like yoga, for example, the more we bring energy to ourselves, the less we feel to take some certain foods. We feel to drop meat. We don't feel we resonate with that. How many of you still using meat as nourishment? Yes, we feel the more you practice, the more you feel like this is not really fuel for my ship. Then as you practice some more and bring more energy, you discover that maybe dairy and animal products in general are not really the best fuel because they don't have so much energy. I'm not saying what they do to your health, how they clutter your blood and so on. I'm just saying they don't have so much energy. No, because the cow ate the grass, it passed it through her body, it took all the prana from it, and then it gave you some milk. And that's second-hand prana. You don't want that. You want first-hand, right? So you feel that you do not resonate so much with that type of nourishment. Then you practice some more, you work some more, and you feel that maybe even solid food or cooked food doesn't have so much energy. Because you feel the energy of stuff. The more the awareness develops, the more you feel the energy of everything around you, including food. And you start feeling that maybe cooked food doesn't have so much energy. Even if it's vegan, even if it's not second-hand or third-hand, still it doesn't feel like when you put it in your body, you have an energy boost, because that's why we should use nourishment, to have an energy boost, right? Some use it for pleasure, some use it for emotional reasons, but the main reason that we take energy as food is to have an energy boost. And from that, you can ask yourselves what brings you that boost. You move further into juices, maybe, or into vegan raw food, and you discover, well, yeah, it's good to have vegan raw food, maybe once or twice a day, but is it necessary to have it really 3 times a day with snacks in between, or could it be just once a day? And you start tuning into your body and see, well, now maybe I'm not feeling to have breakfast or lunch. I'm just feeling to have a bit of dinner or soup or something. That's what happened to me along the years, Or I'm feeling to have not so heavy food on my plate. I'm feeling to have just a little bit of nuts and dried fruits or a slice of melon or something. And that might be enough. Even if your mind tells you didn't have that calories intake in that day, that didn't have the right quantity of food, you didn't have all this and that, but you're feeling that you're okay, because you've already brought energy to your cells. And the more awareness you have, and the more you tune into your body, you also know when and how much to practice. And you discover that certain practices still work for you, if you had them for 20 years, in some of the people here present. And some practices, maybe yoga or whatever, don't do that much good for you anymore. It's not that they're bad, but you don't need them anymore. And you are aware enough to be able to change them. Or you're aware enough to be able to do small shifts in your life, very subtle attunements, everyday shifts that would bring more joy to your life, would bring more prana into your field. Because pranic journey is about the joy. Pranic journey is about the enchantment and delightment of this life in a physical body. That's what opens up your cells and your nadis, energy channels, to receive more and be nourished. It's not about how strict you are, how long you do pranayama, and how long you would keep that water fasting or dry fasting that some teacher told you about. It's not about that. It's about how much delight and joy you have in your life. And the question of the day for pranic nourishment, besides meditation and some practices that might be good for your bodies, is what brings you joy? What brings you joy? We take a moment just to be aware of what brings you joy, each one of you. Let's tap into that feeling a bit. Don't let that question pass by like that. Just tap into what brings you joy, really. Huh? Does anyone? Yes. Creation brings you joy, like physical art, something. Yes. What else? Singing brings you joy. Okay, beautiful. What else? Physical loving, or just heart loving? Yes, perfect. Heart, physical, spiritual, loving, beautiful. You? Deep peace state in meditation. What else brings you joy? Wow. How does wisdom bring you joy? It's interesting, very beautiful. What else brings you joy? Communication brings you joy, sharing with people. Animals bring you joy because they're so pure of heart and they're emanating divine essence. Yes. The beauty of nature. The beauty of nature also for you. Yes, what else? Dancing brings you joy. Everything that is light brings us joy. You see, nobody said 10 hours of fasting brings me joy. Nobody said if I dry fast for 7 days, I will be very, very joyful. Scusa? Ah, sì, grazie. Allora, so we see that simple, playful stuff that have to do with art, communication, and creativity is really the stuff that brings us joy. This is a very smart public here. We're having very fine-tuned people. And out of this brief research, we've discovered instantly that very simple, playful stuff are the ones that bring us joy. So what do we need to do from now on? Have more of that in our life, no? Play more with that. No, that's no longer necessary to have these many, many hours of staying secluded. No longer necessary unless you search for something in particular. That is your private journey. But no longer necessary to go into that desperate, that dry fasting that is going to eventually deplete your kidneys to the point that you feel far less joy than before. Who did that? I know some of you did a lot of dry fasting here because you thought it's the step into pranic nourishment. It's useful. You purify a lot. Okay, you use your own toxins and so on and so forth to move into a lighter way of being. But are your kidneys okay? Is your body okay at the end of it? Are your adrenals fine? Do you have enough energy to be joyful? That's the question, no? In everything. Are you assessing through every day of that dry fast or of fasting in general your body and energy bodies in a very knowledgeable way to check that you're okay? Or are you just doing it by the year because a teacher has told you to? It's necessary when on this path to be aware of every energy movement in our field. Every energy movement in our field. That's pranic consciousness. To be aware when you're too depleted to continue. To be aware when you should stop and do something else. To be aware when you need to change even the way you move your body or the asanas you do in the yoga sessions. Everything. Or the way you share with your lover. Everything has an impact on your pranic journey and your field. And every second of awareness can not only bring you further in your pranic consciousness development, but it can also really save your life. You know, because there's people who have really died on this path, and it's not easy to witness that for some of us, yes? Because we want humanity to evolve and thrive on this path, not to be even more confused, even more depleted, even more far from its center, right? We want humanity to thrive on this path. When we are talking about it, we're talking because we feel we have been here before, and we have been in a state of pranic consciousness before, and the ancient civilizations on the planet, which some of you have lived in, or are representatives of, have had this experience before and know how it is to transform body into light and to be nourished by light, right? How many of you remember? How many of you remember Atlantis or Lemuria or other star nations, maybe from other places where you have just already experienced that, or pranic nourishment, pranic consciousness? You remember, right? That's why you're here. That's why you feel called to this. And that's why you believe that this is possible. But the important thing is to be aware of where we are now as humanity and what we have to manifest now and what's possible for us now. And yes, pranic nourishment is possible, and it is proven, and it is available. And free energy also is available for all of us, for our bodies, and for our systems, cars, devices, ships, whatever we want, we can have with free energy already. It's not somewhere in the future, it's now. But that requires a very deep awareness of where we are as civilization and what we head onto. Do I still have time? Can somebody tell me time? Half an hour. Because at the end, I want to not only talk about it, but also give you the gift of experiencing some nourishment, some lunch or whatever time of the day is. Through a brief meditation. That's why I'm asking about the time. So at the end, we're going to have a brief meditation where we experience how to be nourished in a deeper way. But before that, I'm just going to share a few more words. Let me know if you have any questions so far. Questions of what I shared so far. Yes, no, maybe? Questions. Yes, because instead of continuing like that, I could even be more specific and answer what you want. No question? No, good. All is clear. We'll see about... Yes, please. She wants... the girl behind you wants the mic. Okay, yes.
Volevo chiederti, quando entri nel viaggio astrale, in che condizione è favorevole trovarsi? Come fai ad entrare nel viaggio astrale? Perché ho avuto delle esperienze e mi piacerebbe rifarle, però non so.
So she wants to know about astral traveling and what's the best state to begin in. I will tell you a bit about my travelings. Oh, this weather here. There's a classical way of astral traveling that implies leaving your body and going somewhere, right? Many of you know that way, yes? There's another way of experiencing the astral realm that I do not call traveling because it doesn't imply an A and a B. It doesn't imply being here and there and going there. It doesn't imply going anywhere, actually. It implies, though, expanding to the awareness of perceiving realities that might now seem far away from your body. But you're not going out of your body, you're just expanding towards that reality while still being present in your body, never leaving it. That's my experience with it. I've also had experiences when, while being in a room talking to a friend early in the morning, for example, being fully focused on the conversation, my energy, some part of me, an aspect of me, I won't call names or specific terms because we each one have our own understanding of holistic language, but a part of me that was taking my shape and presenting itself at me was participating to a gathering in another place. And my friends then told me at lunch, you have come to me into the gathering, you have presented yourself in front of me, and when I wanted to speak with you, you smiled and disappeared. Just don't do that, it's weird. And I said to them, I didn't do it on purpose, it just happens. And I'm most of the time not aware that I'm there. So that's my way of traveling. I have feelings and experiences of many places, not only of this world, but many other stars and so on, where my body could perceive a pain or a tension or some constriction or expanding that has to do with that experience. But my mind doesn't consciously see the movie of that reality. But I am there also. But I'm expanded to there. I'm still in my body, present fully here. And that's why my body perceives it. But not my mind, just body and energy field. There's also the experience where people have seen me appearing in their theta state or dream state, and they have woken and saw me in their room, and then when they started asking questions, they said, you just smiled and stood there, you didn't talk to me. And again, I said that I was not aware of being in their in the room, but I was at home in my room, and I was feeling their energy or the pains that they had in their bodies and so on. And the next day, they no longer had these pains. So that's how my bodies travel a bit. Other things that have happened is that people have perceived me in dream state, and I gave them clear instructions of places to go or things like that had to do with their evolution. And then the next day they remembered, but I didn't know anything. But when they told me the story of me being there, I perceived that in my meditation I had information about them having to go to a specific location or temple or so on. So some part of me travels, or doesn't travel, but manifests itself in some locations that are necessitating my presence, but I'm not leaving my body. Yes, it's just the possibility of being ubiquitous that is available to many of us, actually, that can be experienced. But I don't do it on purpose, and I don't travel for the purpose of being somewhere else, because for me here is fine. you know yeah, I work a lot also with energy portals, energy vortexes of this planet and other places. And sometimes when my body needs to be at home, a part of me works with that place without me leaving from here to there. It's just expanding the presence towards that place and being aware a bit of what's happening on that gathering. That's how I was able to experience two very powerful meditations in 2017. In October, there was a gathering in the Egyptian pyramids made by Nassim Haramim with his team. And there was a gathering in India at the same time on full moon of October, where Jasmuheen was leading a meditation. And I was sitting at home in my body, perceiving both energies of both meditations at the same time. And at the end, when I talked to them or to the people in the gatherings, they confirmed some of the things that I was picking up. But I didn't leave my body and go there. I was present, I was here. But I was also with them. So many of you, I'm with them all the time. But it's just a thing of perceiving the other aspects of me that are less dense or less physical than this aspect. I don't want this to sound too holistic, but since you asked, that's what I can confirm of astral experiences. And I also can tell that the astral realm is very vast and tricky, and it requires a lot of awareness, focus, and diligence to be able to weave through it, as our friend Mark was explaining the other day, to be able to weave through it without being caught into some other story that is not beneficial for you. So I highly recommend, if you were to ask, very diligent meditation daily before starting any astral journeys. Just be aware of yourself and who you are and what you are and what's your essence, and then travel somewhere else. That's what I could say. Yeah. Any other question? Welcome. It's been a little long answer, but I know it made sense to some here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Questions? Anyone else? Or do we go in meditation? Ah, yes.
What's the name of the book that you...
Yes,
at the beginning?
Baird T. Splending.
Baird T. Splending.
Bayryd T. Splending. Okay. The life of the masters of the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East. Life and teachings of the masters of the Far East. It's a very powerful book.
Life and teaching of the masters.
Yes. Yes. Well, welcome. Other questions? Did you want to ask a question? No? Okay. Good. So what we invite you to do now, or be, anyone? No? Good. Yes. We continue with questions and then we go into meditation. No rush. Just use the mic so that everybody can hear, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe just repeat that. How do you see and feel freedom?
Good question. How do I see and feel freedom? Limitlessness is freedom to me. Like being able to be, do, perceive everything without any barriers. And also autonomy, like being free from everything and at peace with everything as well. That's freedom to me. Good? Any continuations that you need? Him. Okay. Oh, no problem. We're all gonna take time for questions. It's no problem.
I assume you know one of the people who came here to talk, Kay Hogarth?
Yes.
Yes? So I was very intrigued and actually shocked by him, by the stuff that he talked about. And I've been hearing you talking about yogis, which is my main area of
Expertise, yes.
interest, yeah.
Okay.
And he just says that yoga is now outdated technology is behind us. It's,
Yes.
thing of the past. So what would you?
So I won't go into discussing Kay Hogarth. He's one of my colleagues, which I respect very much. I know he's challenging to people, but I wasn't present to his talk.
Just to mention about him
Yes.
personally.
Yes, I understand.
About statements.
Yes. So I wasn't present to his talk. I wouldn't be able to refer to that very much. But I can say that some of the practices that were very efficient before, from yogic traditions, Tibetan traditions, Qigong, Buddhist traditions, whatever you want to choose, are becoming now, are still beneficial, but are becoming old technology. Because our bodies have shifted a lot in the past years. I won't give a date. I will say past years. And there's a necessity for more efficient way of practicing. Those of us who are connected enough to be able to download new practices and types of meditations would see that even chakras in some people are no longer like we are used them to be. For those who move further and further into pranic consciousness, chakras no longer are separated. That's going to be challenging. Are no longer separated, but are united in a full column of light. I will give just an example of how our inner technology is changing, yes? For those of us who are fully aligned, the chakras are becoming a column of light, a single unificated column of energy. So no separation between them, right? So that requires a different practice, yes? You no longer practice the asanas of chakras or purifying the chakras. You practice something else in that state. Or you don't need to practice anything, maybe. Just full awareness. So that's maybe what he meant. I don't know what he meant because I haven't consulted with him. But what I mean when saying that some technologies, so not technologies, but practices can be outdated, is that our bodies of light are changing, our physical body is changing, the planet body is changing from carbon into crystal. Scientists in Russia have proven that our physical body is changing from carbon to crystal. There's an article on my website, soulhealingacademy.com, that refers to that, and you can read more. And from changing of the physical body, is natural that you do other practices to maintain it or to enhance it, right? That's what I think is meant by outdated technology. But I do not say that yoga is no longer necessary though, or qigong. I still practice them. But some of the practices that I was doing are now required a little shift. That's why I'm saying that it's always necessary to have awareness in our practice and not insist too much on something if it's no longer up to date. That's what I mean. Does it make sense to you? Yoga is still very good. It's an ancient practice that will always be beneficial probably. But some things need to be shifted. And for those of us who can connect to the ascended masters that have brought yoga on this planet, Babaji for example, we can tune in and see what's new. Yes? That's what I recommend. And also some programs of the old yogis are no longer necessary now. Like the one I talked about before, about leaving the physical body to have the most expanded state here. It's no longer necessary to leave your body to reach Mahasamadhi. Yes? You can have it here. That's maybe the outdated thing that he was referring, but it's best to ask him about that, I think. Yeah. Other questions? How many minutes in physical time? Still? See? Time is expanding. I had half an hour ago. Yeah. We're being efficient. Okay, so next question.
So freedom.
Yeah.
Do you mean that you know what you are and you know what you need to do in your life?
Yes.
And how achieve it? How will achieve it?
How did I get into this perception? Well, meditation and other practices that I referred to earlier have brought me here, and also the help of many light beings that I'm connecting to, that eventually have revealed themselves of being other aspects of me, which is great to discover. Made sense? Okay, so practice. Meditation is usually taking you there, into knowing who you are and what you need to do. That's what helps. Yeah. Don't shy away from it. It might seem something very serious and fastidious, but really, just sitting inside yourself and breathing in your heart can bring much joy to you. And nourishment as well. Which we are going to do now, huh? I believe. Any other questions? No? Yes? No? No? Yes? Yes? Okay, we're going into meditations, and if necessary, we'll talk more after. Maybe something that you experience will need to be asked after. I'm just going to take a moment to bring something that I need, and then we can begin. In the meantime, I invite you to center in your heart and start following your breath. Yes? So just center in your heart, start following your breath. We are fully in our hearts. We see and feel how the energy is fully gathering in the center of our chest. Fully gathering in the center of our chest. Those of you who are not comfortable, you don't have to do it. You can just sit and watch or have a walk, whatever you feel. You start centering in your heart and you imagine, visualize, sense or feel that you're in a light column from the center of the universe to the center of the earth. You're in a light column from the center of the universe to the center of the earth. And this column, which is like a cylinder with a thickness of your hand stretched out, is surrounding you in the most beneficial energy for you now. The most beneficial color, the most beneficial emanation of prana is now surrounding you from the center of the universe to the center of the earth, like a light vehicle. You breathe deeply the energy or color or light from this column. You feel it surrounding you fully. You feel with every exhale that you emanate out everything that no longer serves you. You let it be absorbed into this column of light. This column of light is pre-programmed now to absorb, dissolve, transmute, transform all the energies that are no longer serving you. Deep breath in, you bring more light into your bodies. And with the deep breath out, you let all the worries, tensions, and concerns being released into your light column, into your light vehicle, and being absorbed and dissolved there. Deep breath in, you fully feel how your body is fully relaxing. Deep breath out. You emanate out all the worries, tensions, and concerns that is no longer beneficial for you. Breathing in. You feel your heart center expanding more and more. Breathing out, you feel your body lighter and lighter, more and more relaxed. By centering in the heart, you imagine the heart chakra as a light sphere or light bubble inside or in the center of your chest. You visualize, sense, and feel that you have a connection cable from the center of the universe that comes down to your crown chakra, a connection cable from the heart of the central sun comes down to your crown chakra, coming down through your third eye chakra, then through your throat chakra, and connecting down into your heart. This is connecting you to the heart of the central sun, and with every inhale, you draw energy or prana through this cable into your heart chakra. Breathing in deeply. You feel with every breath that you draw, like through a straw, this energy, color, from the heart of the central sun into your heart. And when we exhale it out, this energy, this love, this power, into our cells, into our organs, into all our physical systems, into our auric field, and then out into the universe. Breath in, fueling the heart chakra with more love. Breathing out, exhaling this energy into the cells, into the organs, into the energy field around you, and out into the universe. Let this energy go down to your lower chakras and feet as well. Feel it flowing from the heart through the lower chakras and through every foot down towards the center of the planet. Feel yourself connecting to the center of the planet, the heart of Gaia. Feel yourself touching that love, that mother compassionate energy that is in the center. of Gaia. Feel that love, that pulsation that is keeping all of this planet alive, flowing up through your roots now, like Gaia is sharing her love with you. And it's coming up through your roots, it's coming up through your soles of the feet, the ankles, the calves, the knees, the thighs. It's coming up to your perineums, coming up to the base of your spine, coming up through the spine to your heart chakra, coming up from the chakra of the heart to the base of the skull, coming up from the base of the skull to the top of your head, flowing up constantly. And as it constantly flows up, it constantly fuels you with the energy of compassion, of maternal love, maternal acceptance, yin, beautiful harmony of this planet, the wisdom of Gaia. Feel it coursing up through your body, all the way up to the top of your head. And feel every cell of your body absorbing this nourishment, this feminine, gentle energy that is now fueling your whole system. Feel yourself fully nourished, fully pampered, fully accepted, fully loved in this energy. Feel yourself at home here. Feel the benevolence of this infinitely wise mother that is holding you for eons of time in her arms. And know that when your body is full, this energy emanates through the top of your head in a toroidal system, surrounding your body in a sphere of light, in a globe of light, that with a toroidal movement is getting reinforced with every breath. You feel this filter reinforced. You feel more and more powerful energy around you and through you. And know that this vehicle of spherical form is filtering all the energies that doesn't serve you, like the Wi-Fi emanations, the toxins in the air, all the thought forms that are being imprinted on you that no longer serve you, all are filtered out by this spherical vehicle around you with the biomagnetic field of Earth. And when you're ready, knowing that you're constantly in the sphere of light from the center of the Earth energy, and in this vehicle of light from the center of the universe, that is your light column around you, you can center back into your heart, center back into your body, start feeling your body fully, the toes, the soles of the feet, the ankles, the knees, the thighs. You start feeling your hips, you start feeling present, fully present in your abdomen, lower back, upper back, chest, arms. You're fully present in your neck, fully present in your head, fully present to the top of your head. Fully present back into your body, feeling you're inhabiting your ship again. And you can come back into the room with your presence and your awareness. And you can tune back into this reality. If anyone wants to share what they felt or experienced, you are welcome to. Yes. Yes, you can take the mic from her and then, yeah, it's okay.
È come se mi fossi, ripete, ho seguito in parte quello che veniva detto e in parte poi quando sono entrata
Più profondo, sì.
meno. E come se mi fossi riazzerata, proprio quando dormi, ti svegli, proprio mi sono riazzerata e in quel momento lì come c'è un battito del cuore
Sì,
e, e sento come che avviene. Non è che sia proprio... è
una
proprio
cosa della
proprio-
mente, sì.
Esatto. E poi stavo costruendo una tenda con dei pali.
Sì, una piramide, anzi.
No,
Ah,
una tenda
facevi
con
proprio
dei
una
pali.
tenda. Ok, yes.
E ho detto, poi ho pensato, ma poi come faccio a sistemare sta roba? Poi ho capito che non era...
Non era così importante. Magari.
Ero andata un po',
Sì, sì.
un po' a fare un'altra cosa. Però mi è molto piaciuta, è stata molto, anche la voce molto rilassante, bello.
Mhm. Grazie per aver condiviso. Le cose che ci arrivano, sorry, the things that come to us in meditation are sometimes very important to remind us of something that is maybe challenging in our lives now. So if you see yourself, in a tent in an Indian lifetime experience, it might be connected to something that you are experiencing now that you might want to reassess. I don't know about it, but you might know. Anything else or any other questions that might have come to you during the meditation? I want to tell for those of you who felt maybe falling asleep that you weren't asleep. We guide people into the theta state. The theta state is usually experienced right before sleeping or in the first phases of sleep, and that's why people have the feeling of having fallen asleep during meditation. But you are fully conscious, and a part of you was fully aware of what's happening, and you had the full experience. You didn't lose anything during the meditation, even if your mind wasn't present. You were fully participating to the experience, and you can trust in your life that even if your mind isn't registering all the information, you do have the experience that you need to have. That's for those of you overusing the mind, maybe. I want to present a bit of my work that I'm doing now before completing the gathering. There's some important things that I have discovered that have to do with the science of the human body and the energy field. I have brought 3 books with me, the books that I have written. I have written 5, but 2 of them are not yet translated. And the latest book is called the Pranic World Book and has many information of what has been discovered about the pranic reality so far, especially in the science and the medical realm. We have researched in multiple ways this reality, and it seems that the ability to feel nourished has very much to do with how quiet the mind is, how much you are able to relax your thought emanations and maybe seize it for a while. It has been discovered that in theta, so research has been done on brainwaves. How many of you are familiar with brainwaves? Brainwaves, yes? Beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma. These are the recently discovered mind states or brain states. Where the mind is less agitated, we go towards theta, delta brainwaves. When the mind is in its current day-to-day state, agitation and busyness, we talk about the beta state. So it has been discovered that the more we meditate, the more the brain moves into the alpha and theta state, and those of the meditators that have been measured have proven to develop more melatonin in their bodies. Melatonin is a hormone that is very much impact on our system. One of the things it does, it also regulates ATP. ATP being the thing that nourishes our cells. When ATP is regulated and produced increasingly, then the cells feel nourished and no longer need physical food, right? If ATP is increasing, then naturally the food intake should be decreasing so that you do not nourish from two sources at the same time. Does it make sense? When you decrease your food intake or even fast, something very interesting happens. So people have been tested, and it's been proven that in extensive fasting, without starting the digestive system and running it, in the digestive system, when it's free of clutter, free of food, it is produced 400 to 500% more melatonin than in the brain, which lead us to the conclusion that digestive system might not be built for what we use it. Make sense? Digestive system might not be built initially. You know, when we were first separate from source and put into a body, right? It has not been built for digesting food. That has been a function that might have developed over time with us under developing other functions. Yes? Because when it's left alone and when it's free, the digestive system, also called the second brain in our bodies, scientifically called like that, is doing amazing stuff, like developing melatonin 400 to 500 times more than the brain, having very powerful intuitive messages to tell us. That's why English has an expression, I feel it in my gut. That means gut is a place where feelings or intuition is developing. Digestive system has been also proven to emanate energy, which is why in Taoist tradition or yogic tradition we are taught to focus on our hara or core here. Yes? So what if we were not really built for eating initially? It's research. I'm not saying it from my brain. I'm still studying this because it's not something, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist fully. But it's interesting questions to look at, right? Why are we built? What are we built for? What is this body really meant to do? And are we using it properly, really? Another question to ask yourselves would be, if you had the most advanced machinery or starship, and if you had the most powerful features to it, like being able to teleport with it, or remotely perceive information and transmit information with it, and bilocate it, and heal with it while you go with it through certain areas, and so on and so forth. If you had that type of starship, what type of fuel would you put it in? Would you use low quality fuel, like the lowest price possible and maybe with some junk in it? Or would you use the highest quality fuel? What do you think you would do if you had the most powerful starship like that? Or not starship, car even. What would you use? The best fuel or the worst fuel? Best? May I tell you that you all have that starship already? And it's called your physical body? Yeah, the body really does what I said. It really has these properties, actually. It does remote viewing. It does remote healing. It does teleporting. It does bilocate. It does all that. Yeah? People have proven it. People have levitated. People have healed others from a distance. One of my jobs is that I do long distance healing. I do a therapy called soul healing, and I work on internet with people that are having the exact same experiences like I would be next to them. They're crying, they're releasing a lot of stuff, their bodies are enhanced, their energy bodies are shining, and I'm miles and miles away. And many of us are like that. It's not just one person. So therapy is also available here. I'm going to do sessions until tomorrow, until I leave. But I want to tell you that you have the most powerful not star, but also starship, because you can travel astrally, like she said. Yeah? And that leads us to the question, how do you want to fuel it? Do you want to keep it longer or discard it as soon as possible? Yeah, that's something to take at home as mind food, brain food. What is available as information that I brought here is 3 books. This is the Pranic World book, where I put some research. The research that I talked to you earlier is present here, and more information about how to detox the physical, emotional, and mental body, how to look at the pranic world from different perspectives, how to work with your mind, what were the experiences of other people that I've interviewed, what are the tricks and traps on this path. It's all written in this book. More of this series will come. It's available in the shop and here with me. And I have another book here about an interesting experience called the Darkroom Retreat. So the book is actually called Darkroom Retreat, and it refers to 10 days in dark with no food and only meditation that I did in 2013. And I did another 17 days this March this year. That was one of the things, to reply to the girl earlier, one of the things that brought me to more awareness and brought me to more of the pranic consciousness that we're all experiencing. And the third book, it's called Get Seduced by Your Own Life, and it has information of how to move on a lighter diet. It's writing about moving to vegetarianism, veganism, juices, the information inside each group of foods, the energy information, and the energy state that you develop by eating this group of foods. It talks about yin and yang elements, because some of you are still using them. And it gives also insights about emotional and mental changes that can be done for us to be more peaceful and more insightful and more aware. Also, while I'm here, like we said, therapy is available. I do 1 hour to 1 hour and a half sessions here, and you can experience more of your true nature. That's why it was called soul healing, because it centers you and aligns you with your soul. And the information that you receive during the sessions really comes from there. And if you want to meet again, in August we have a festival in Romania called the Pranic Festival. It's August 15 to 19. And followed by a beautiful trip to some outstanding energy vortexes of Romania, like the Romanian Sphinx, pre-Christian sun-worshipping temples, and amazing power places in nature that I worked with for many, many years, that were connected to the other vortexes of the planet, like pyramids and like Giza Plateau, and the places in Turkey, the places in China, the places in Tibet. So while there, we practice various meditations to help you connect to actually all the planetary grid and all the planetary vortexes that are nourishing us with prana. And actually every festival opens new vortexes for this evolution. So that's what we do August 19 to 22nd. And then August 23rd, we have a prana retreat, also in the mountains, in a very powerful place, that I'm going to be leading in helping you detox your body, your emotional system, your mind, and be more into your spiritual awareness. So that's available in August. In the meantime, I'm going to travel a lot. I'm going to be in US end of July, joining the Resonance Academy with Nassim and others. Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Joe Dispenza, Gregg Braden, sorry. Having a conference there on free energy, and probably in other countries that I'm not aware now. Yes. July 29th to August 2nd. In US, California, near in the Redwoods. Yeah. And until then, I'm preparing the Pranic Festival in Romania, and I might be in other gatherings, but I now do not remember, because my life is traveling constantly from in various places like this, enhancing the energy field and also talking. And it's full schedule, and sometimes I miss out some information. But you have contact data here that I brought that you can take. You can take the cards and use them and connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram, and the website, soulhealingacademy.com. And you can also look at YouTube, where you find a lot of information about the experiences with the people that I met. Also look up Pranic Festival in Romania and Pranic Consciousness Summit for in-depth experiences with pranic people. Yeah, that's what's available for now. Do you need to ask anything else? We're out of supposedly out of time. That doesn't mean that time has ended. It means we've crossed into the 5th dimension already. Okay, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being here. I'm very happy to be with you every year, and hope to see you soon in Romania or next year in Italy. Thank you very much.